Os. Konbanwa. Genki desu ka? Genki desu. Hope you are genki desu. Genki desu ka means how are you? And genki desu means I'm fine. So I'm hoping that you're fine. Yeah, my Japanese needs more practice, as it has done for the last 30 years. But there we go. So I hope you are all okay. Thanks for joining me this evening. And if not this evening, then later on, because I know some of you watch this back on other days, the weekends, etc., etc. So tonight's lesson, we're going to continue the theme of Tuesday. As is often, I make connections between the two lessons. And so this evening, we're going to be doing the relationship again between Kihon, Kata and Kumite. Okay, so we're going to choose two techniques like we did on Tuesday. So Tuesday we chose Gidan Barai, so downward sweeping block, and Zuki, stepping punch. Okay, my nemesis punch, as I like to call it. So that was really, for me, a really enjoyable lesson. I thoroughly enjoyed teaching that lesson, and made me think about some things in a different way in terms of the way we went from Kihon and then its relationship in Kata and then from Kata to Kumite. Now, I tend to follow that path. I think I didn't explain that on Tuesday, and that is for me, Kihon basics links into Kata, Kata links into Kumite, Kumite links back to Kihon. And that's just the way that I sort of do those three, I think, is in my mindset. I don't generally do Kihon, Kumite, Kata, but you could do. It makes no difference. It doesn't make any difference. The three, as I said on Tuesday, are very much joined. Okay, if you think of an equilateral triangle and all of those three being on the same, on a different point, and then you put a pen or a pin in the middle and spin it, makes a circle, means the same. They're all the same. Yeah, if you look at our circle here. So, oh, look at that! I feel like a weather person. Not very good at it though, obviously. So there's me without a job there, definitely being a weather person. I hope that makes sense. So we're understanding the relationship between a basic karate technique and its relationship to Kata and then Kumite. You could do it any other way around, but I tend to think in my head, certainly now, I think before it was probably Kihon, Kumite, Kata, but in my head now, Kihon, Kata, Kumite. So that's the way it works for me. Good evening, Kayla. Good evening, Isaac. Good evening, Ken Sensei. Hope you are all well. Just a reminder that if you're one of the black belts, we've got a black belt session this Saturday. Really looking forward to doing Teki Sandan, I think the agreement was, and Sensei Wayne's going to take us through that lesson, which is great. It means I don't have to teach, I can just train. But that's Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on Zoom. Okay, it's over 16s only, so it's just we used to do a black belt session once a month for the Udansha, which is the black belts. So if you're interested in joining that, then please let me know, and I'll stick you on the black belt WhatsApp group, and you can join us. Okay, so tonight's lesson, we'll get warmed up. I think I've said hello to everybody that I can see, and then we'll get the lesson started with the intention to finish at 8 o'clock as per normal. No more information to share with you about the current situation in terms of we continue online. In my mind, I have a spring course planned. I haven't got a date for it exactly yet because I think we're going to wait and see what happens in terms of the dojos. But I'm thinking of a course towards the end of March. Okay, online, because we will still be online at that point. And then there is the slim possibility at the moment that dojos may be able to open week commencing the 12th of August, the 12th of April, but we still don't know just yet. And I will need to find out more information from our various different dojo providers. Still looking for an outdoor space if the weather's nice, particularly around Easter, to train with some people if we want to do so and we're allowed to do so. So if you could keep that in your mind, that would be, again, also awesome. Okay, so let's get going. Kyotsuke. I'm just a standing bow and Shomani, ready? And Sensei, ready? Okay, so just get quick warmed up because my feet are freezing on this floor, as you well know. Okay, so arms forwards, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, si, charge, ko, jo. And back, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, si, charge, ko, jo. Arms out, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, si, charge, ko, jo. Crossing over, ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, si, charge, go, jo. Left arm forwards, figure of 8. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, change, rock, siege, harch, go, jo. Left arm forwards, right arm back. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, siege, haj, ho, jo. And change. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, ro, siege, haj, ho, jo. Okay, very good. Arms forwards. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, haj, ko, jo. Hands to the sides. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, haj, ko, jo. And up. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, haj, ko, jo. Okay, so forwards, side, and up. Take time. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rock, siege, haj, ko, jo. Okay, and relax. Right arm across the body, stretching. Okay, up and over, pull down. Left arm across the body, pull across. So remember, right in Japanese, migi, and left hidari. Pull down. Okay, ubis, tekubi, one. Relax, kata, shoulders, relax these, please. Yeah, especially if it's night's lesson. Okay, it's just nice and relaxed. Okay, Zenko Tsudachi front stance. Just going to play around with the camera. Make sure you're in a good front stance. Probably going to regret touching the camera in a second. Whoa. Too much tilt. Never play around with the camera in a live lesson. It's not a great thing, is it? Oh, the dog's woken up. There's a change. Okay, so change legs, Zenko Tsudachi. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Okay, so left leg Zenko Tsudachi. Okay, hips at shomen. So shomen is square. Okay, so if we think of it as square, then we change our hips to hanmi. Okay, back to square and hanmi. Yeah, so if you take those angles here and then here. So shomen is facing shomen front. Okay, that's what it means. Okay, and then that's right then, Holly. That's right. That's right. That's right. The dog has woken up and is now being annoying. Change legs. Okay, so again, shomen, square. Yep, square. Hips forward. Change the angle, 45 degrees, hanmi. Twist the hip back through, shomen. Square. Twist, hanmi. Shomen, hanmi. Shomen, hanmi. Shouldn't be too much movement with the knee. There will be some, okay, because they're connected. But you can usually use your hip freely of the knee if your feet are in the correct position. Okay, so you should be able to do that. Okay, change legs again. So just bring the hip back in hanmi and square hip off. So make sure shomen, hanmi, shomen, hanmi. Change legs. Shomen, hanmi, shomen, hanmi. Okay, very good. Standing hachidachi shizentai, so natural stance. Okay, so shomen, hanmi, shomen, hanmi. Shoulders shouldn't move much at all. Again, little flexion, a little flexing. Okay, is the right word, I think. So shoulders should stay square. Hip, back, hip, back. So you could think of shomen as neutral, okay, and hanmi as engaged. Whatever way you remember. You see how much minimal movement there is. And the reason I kept my arms here is so you can see more movement. Very minimal movement up here. Minimal movement down here. This area, the hip. Okay, so this is our tanden. Tanden in Japanese, the lower part of the body, sort of the abdomen area, is our center of gravity. Okay, so we've got this half up, and we've got this half down, and this is where our OB sits. Okay, and our tanden is just down here, and this is where our center of gravity. So we have the Gyaku point, which is the axis, the axis, okay, that sits down. If we dropped I don't know, put a spike through our head all the way down to the floor, we would pivot right down the center and our hips would pivot, okay? And you should try to keep your body as much as you can upright. As soon as you start to move things out of kilter, you're changing the axis point, and so therefore you're losing the effectiveness of all the techniques that you've worked hard to try and practice. So it's really important you do it. And the reason I'm saying this whilst we're warming up is because it's going to be part of the lesson with the 2 techniques that we're doing this evening. Okay, so, sorry, my feet are absolutely freezing. Okay, so Kiyotsuke, turn facing the way. A very brief warm up because I wish to get going. Okay, and seize up. Shonri, right? Sensei, you ready? Boss. Right knee and straight up into standing position, Shizentai. Os. Masubarachi. Okay, so feet turn out. Please excuse me, dog. Annoying you are, dog. Annoying. Os. Okay, so tonight's lesson then we're going to work on the 2 techniques we did on Tuesday were Gidan Barai and Oizuki, and tonight we're going to work on Geri and Yakuzuki. So we're going to use a kick and a punch. Last time we did a block and a punch, this time we're doing a kick and a punch. So we're going to do a little bit of basic training on the kick, on the Geri, and we'll do some basic training on the punch as well. Then we're going to show you how they work within a kata, okay, and I'll let you have a little thought about what kata it might be. But I think you can work that out quite quickly, okay? And then we're going to show you combined for kumite, okay? So show the relationship between the 3 and how the techniques change, okay? Because that's what we did literally on Tuesday, okay? So first of all, key thing with Geri, okay, is when we're bringing this knee up, knee doesn't go out. Yeah, we don't tilt backwards because we lose our axis point. So we need to make sure that we bring the knee up as close to the body as possible to maintain control, to maintain our form. So bring the knee up, bring it higher, but keep it tight into the body. Okay, let your hips drop. So don't squeeze, necessarily squeeze, just relax. Let your hips just from here, tension, relax. Now I'm not bending my leg here, I'm just relaxing, letting gravity take its course. Knee up. Okay, back down. I'll just turn the other way so you can show you. Okay, so again, not this. Knee up into this position. Back straight as possible. Okay, this leg relaxed, the hips dropped. Not this. If you do this, the knee is out. Bring the knee. You see what happens. The balance is lost really, really quickly. But if we're able to maintain our form, okay, by just relaxing, so letting the hips naturally drop. Okay, bring the knee up into the body. It's much easier to control. Okay, we don't need to tilt backwards or forwards. As soon as we start to do that, we start to lose control. So it's better to keep it into the body as much as possible. Remember also when kicking Geri, okay, that we are not kicking like a football. Okay, so we're not kicking like a football. I'm left-footed, so I would score a goal like this. If indeed I did score a goal. So, not doing that. Our motion that we're looking for is definitely bringing that knee up. Knee up. Knee up. Okay. And of course, our mindset has to be that we are maintaining control of that leg at all times. So that if you kick Geri, whether it be Chudan or Jodan, okay, or even Gidan, you maintain control of it. So you're able to determine what is it doing. So is it impacting on your opponent, your partner, a makiwara, which is a punching or kicking board, some pads, etc. Whatever, what are you working? And you're able to kick and snap back to have that control. Okay, and if you wish to do so, then you let the power go. If you wish to do so, so it's really important to maintain that. If you swing in the leg, very difficult to maintain that control, and you lose power. Okay, and also imagine if you were kicking someone and you did this. they would know you're going to kick. Yeah, you don't know when I'm going to kick yet because I'm not going to do this. Yeah, you don't know when I'm going to kick until it's too late. Okay, so it's about disguising your technique from your opponent as well, which hopefully will make sense. So what we're going to do just from Shizentai, Haisukudachi. Okay, so we're going to kick Maigeri to the front, just Chudan, first of all. Okay, so kicking on the spot, we'll go Migi first, then Hidari, and we'll do 10 times. Okay, so remember what I said here, don't stand dead upright, just let your body sink down. And do not bring your shoulders up as you kick. Yeah, you don't need to do that. Just leave your hips, let them subtly drop. Knees become relaxed, okay? Knee up and just flick out. Okay? Try to kick to the center of your body, okay? I use a 0.5 lens in these lessons, so it does skew the view a little bit, if I'm honest, to fit me all in. But I found that the 0.5 lesson gives you the whole dojo, which is really good, particularly when we come to do kata, etc. The 1x lens, unfortunately, we always lost something, particularly if we did landscape view. When we were doing portrait, it worked absolutely fine. Had lots of room to go backwards and forwards, but then had no depth and width. So this, I think, gives you everything, but the screen view on it might not be so great. I probably look short and dumpy, which is fine because I'm tall and lanky. Makes a change. Okay, so kicking Maigeri, okay, your hands, just let them relax to the sides, okay? Not out here, just relax to the sides. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sich, hach, ko, hai, ju, hai, and back. Now you'll notice that when I kick, okay, one, I'm trying to kick to the center every time, but I'm maintaining control of the foot and I'm bringing it back to its starting position. And I don't look down at my feet, I don't need to, I'm feeling, okay? And when I mean I'm feeling, I'm not feeling to the point of, oh, I've touched the cold floor, that feeling. I'm feeling the kick as it comes back. So I'm maintaining control of that kick. Okay. Have you ever done a test whereby you have your fingers like this and you join them together? It's reasonably easy if you've got a good depth of field, okay, and your eyesight is pretty okay. My eyesight is appalling. However, close your eyes and it could be slightly more problematic, but you can feel, yeah, you can feel. You should be able to work out your body roughly where they join. Maybe not perfect, but if you understand your body, okay, in the way that it works, and all the different joints, and the ligaments, and the tendons, and the bones, and you're able to control it better. That's what we're hoping to do. Because Maigeri is a big old effort to bring that leg up. It's a big limb. So we have to try to control it. And if we can control it, we can kick multiple times, punch again afterwards, sweep, ashibarai, all sorts of wonderful things. So this time, we're not going to kick just once, we're going to kick twice, but you must make sure you keep control of your kick. So Maigeri Sernoba, standing position. Okay, so kicking Maigeri, ich, ni, and down. Very good. And we go again, ich, ni, san, hey, and down. Very good, very good. Ich, ni, san, and down. Ich, ni, and down. Ich, ni, san, and down. Ich, and down. Ich, and down. Ni, san, shi, go, and down. Well done. Hey. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, rok, sich, hach, and down. Us, and relax. Just learning control, okay? Now, it doesn't matter who you are, what level you are, you will always, at some point, lose your balance for whatever reason. Possible injury, uneven floor, freezing cold floor, whatever it may be. Do not worry, okay? If you lose your balance, put your foot down. But always in the mindset, be disciplined. I didn't drop my foot, I put my foot down. So even if I lose my balance, I'm making sure that that goes where I want it to. And so I maintain control, even though I lost my balance. But balance is almost a separate issue, okay? So I'm not going to worry too much about that tonight. So right, os, hey, yoi. Okay, so Sonoba is standing, so just kicking on the spot. So we're going to change now to kicking forwards. So we're going to do two versions of this. We're going to, first of all, step back, Gidan right. Okay, so you can now use your arms to help you for balance or put them in Kumite position, but actually, because we're doing Kihon, rather everybody puts their hands to the side, so like so. This will help you feel baransu, your balance. Okay, and I'm going to change legs deliberately first of all, so do the left side. So you're going to see me kick Geri, okay? Kick and come back. Geri, kick and come back. Now pay attention to the foot. I'm going to try and come closer. And let's see if we can show the foot. So this is the foot being vertical, okay? Now I want to kick with the ball of the foot. I want to kick here. So it's really important that I try to angle the foot so that it doesn't go straight up, okay? I don't angle the foot so the toes are down. I need to create an angle like that, okay? So I'm kicking with the ball of the foot, but I'm actually using the whole body, not just the foot, not just that end part of the foot, yeah? Not just the ankle, not just the lower leg, not just the upper leg. I'm connecting it to the body. If we're able to connect our bones correctly from this kick, get this angle correct, this is what makes Geri such a powerful kick. I've been kicked off my feet with Geri multiple times. Back in the early 90s when I used to compete a lot, this was the kick of choice. Nowadays it tends to be a nice big flashier and washy Geri. But back then it was very simply front kick and back kick. They were the two kicks that were basically just the done thing. Otherwise you punched. And when you get kicked by a Geri properly, you don't go anywhere when it hits you. You just end up in a heap on the floor. And what happens is, essentially, is your opponent has just connected their body and literally, bam! And it's like an electric shock, but it's a very painful one. I'm sure electric shocks are painful anyway, but it's a really quite nasty one. So we need to make sure that when we kick, this knee stays as close to the body as possible. Forget the standing leg at the moment, that's why you don't need to see it. Get this to a point where we're kicking correctly. Ball of the foot. Okay. Changing sides. I'm just doing this from standing stance at the moment, but we'll do it in a second. So not this. Not this. Here. Ball of the foot. Connects with the ankle, connects with the lower leg, the knee, the hip, and the rest of the body to make it really, really strong. And the ball of the foot, yeah, that fleshy part that you can see. There's three main points to the foot. If I try to just hold my knee up and keep my foot up. Here, 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 strike points. If you stand on the sand, okay, or even snow this time of year, you will have those 3 points your footprint is made up from those 3 points. Okay, so if we think of the hand as the foot and really long toes, point 1, point 2, and point 3. Okay, they're our points of contact with the surface. The arch of the foot, this part here, this does not touch the floor, really, unless you've got a collapsed arch, then you've got a little bit more surface area on the floor. But they're our points of contact, and they remain in contact whenever we kick, so you have that stability. If you lift your heel up, you lose 1/3 of your stability. It's almost like losing one of the 3 Ks from karate. So kata, Kihon, and that's it. There's no kumite. You lifted your heel up. Or if you tilt your foot, so your inside, so your knees on the inside, you've lost the outer front part of your balance. So again, you've lost kata, kumite, and where's your Kihon gone? Yeah. You go to the outside of the foot, you supinate the leg too much. So supination is where, pronation is where the knee goes in and supination where the knee goes out. Okay. Again, you lose surface. You need to make sure this is natural so you're able to kick and go forwards. Okay. That really helps with your stability when you're doing Geri in particular. So make sure that this is natural. Okay. Don't force it in any way, shape or form. Just go with what's natural. Okay. Don't waste so much about your stance this evening. But this knee over this toe should be natural. Okay, so you're just resting the body on the hips. You're not resting it on the knee. Whilst the weight may be drawn towards that, 70% and 30%, you're just resting on the hips. Okay, so when we kick Geri, remember we're not swinging through. You need to imagine there's a little hurdle, yeah, just about knee height, just here. Okay, and we need to make sure that we bring the kick up and come back. So we kick over the hurdle, we kick back. My sensei always taught me, kick Geri as if you're kicking a brick wall with a circle, a hole to put your foot in it, size of a football. And you have control, you kick through that, and you come back. You wouldn't kick the wall because it would hurt. Okay. He also used to make us partner up, and we used to put a partner in front of us, and obviously you weren't very popular if you kicked your opponent. You had to kick over their back. Okay, so this is important. So get yourself comfortable and relaxed. Okay, and then your hips push forward as you kick. Just kick and come back. Try not to come up and down on this knee because it makes you bob up and down. It's difficult if you're like me. I've had multiple knee surgeries and I have a lot of pain in my knees. And sometimes there will be some movement there. And if you're a beginner, there definitely will be. But don't worry about that too much. Okay, we can overanalyze the technique another day. But ultimately, you want to keep yourself squat, keep low, kick, and come back. I'm going to change legs because my knee's hurting tonight. So from here, natural position, balance, kick through, kick, control, come back. Okay, so as before, what we did was we kicked, and we kicked again. So we're going to do something similar from Zenkutsudachi. So from this time, still kicking back. So kick and step back, not kick and go forwards just yet. So from this position here, kicking Geri, come back with control. Ich, ni, control, come back. Got it? Okay, again. Ich, ni, san, control, and back. Ball of the foot. Ball of the foot, ball of the foot. Ich, control, back. You're placing the foot, not letting it drop. This helps your control, okay? Hips down, kick through. Kick, come back. Kick, come back. Controlled. Change legs. So I'm just changing sides, you don't need to do that, obviously, because I can't see you. Ich, kick, and back. Ball of the foot, kick, boom, ball of the foot, come back. Watch the foot, kick, ball of the foot, boom, and back. Great sound effects, I know. Kick, and back. I am well known for my sound effects, for those of you that don't know me. When I was 6 years old, I was the $6 Million Man. It's a TV show you'll have to Google if you don't know what it is. It's on YouTube, I'm sure. And the $6 Million Man was a bloke who had bionic leg and bionic joints. And I've essentially turned into Lee Majors, although I'm not worth $1 million or $1 million. I'm worth nothing but like it, but I've got metal rods all in me, so trying to keep me together. But hey, I don't feel like I have. So he used to be able to run really fast, by the way. I can't run at all now. So kick in, Geri, and come back. So what we're going to do, we're going to kick Geri, come back, Geri, step through. Hey, my wate turn. Because of room, kick Geri, step back, control. Kick Geri, step through, control. Wate, Geri, kick back, Geri, kick through. Wate. Geri, kick back, Geri, kick through. Hey, Geri, kick back, Geri, kick through. Geri, kick through. Was ayami. Was. Okay, so to kick Geri higher, to make it its height increase, okay, you can kick Geri at different levels. You can kick Gidan downstairs. Okay, so this would be kicking somebody's shin or knee. My leg was shattered by a Geri almost kick stroke block with somebody's leg on my tib and fib. So it's not very high at all. So kick the knee, you can kick the thigh, your dead leg. Okay, kick the groin. Chudan. Chudan is where we aim for. Okay, so everybody should be aiming for this area, just above the belt. And then Jodan. And a Jodan here. Okay, now I'm 6'1", so that's deemed as being above average. I think average height for a male in the UK, in England, is about 5'7", 5'8". okay? And so I'm a little bit taller than average, but not huge, okay? People 6'11", I've got a friend who's that tall. You don't ever need to kick that much higher above your head. Now, I used to do it for fun. I used to kick door frames to prove I was Bruce Lee when I was younger. All a waste of time. If somebody's that tall, you kick them downstairs, they become this tall. Much easier, okay? So just think of that. You don't need to kick beyond your own ability. So the reason being, 6'1", tall, okay? And when we stretch the foot up this high, okay, to try and get my Jodan, I'm at full stretch. That means my body weight, my axis point, is pushing down, but is no longer balanced because I'm born with two legs and I have one on the floor. But not only do I not have it one on the floor and connected to my body, I'm now bringing my knee right up to my shoulder, okay, and kicking above. I'll try to demonstrate. I'm not that warmed up, but we'll get so here. So that's about 6'7". There is absolutely no point to kick that high. Because I don't know if you can see, you probably can't, so I'll do it this way. When I try to kick 6'7"-ish, that sort of height, okay, watch what happens to my supporting leg, The heel comes up. So my point earlier about our contact points really becomes affected. So I'm starting to lose my form, my power, and definitely a lot of other things like speed, etc. will be an issue. Okay. Good evening, Harry. Us, just spotted you. Okay. So try to kick within your own self. I think that's probably the best way to describe this. So if I'm in Zenko Sudachi, I'm no longer 6'1". I'm probably only about 5'6". Okay. So my Jodan is my chin still. So I just need to bring my knee that little bit higher to kick Jodan Geri. I don't need to kick it up here. I don't need to do that for the reasons of losing stability, power, speed, etc., etc. So from here, just bring that knee a little bit higher. Just bring that knee a little bit higher. Keeping it into the body still, let the hips naturally drop. Each kick and down. Mowote turn. Okay, again, Jodan Geri, each and down. Heel stays, whole foot, 3 points, 3 connections must stay on the floor. If you find you're stretching too far, don't kick too high. If you can't kick at those 2 levels, that's absolutely fine. You kick a lower level, still kick Geri. Okay, and you kick maybe a little bit higher if you can. Unfortunately, I think when we're all younger, particularly with juniors, we overkick because it's cool. Yeah, kicks are cool. That's what when we watch the movies, the Power Rangers, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Cobra Kai, Karate Kid, all of those movies, the thing that attracts us most to martial arts is the spectacular kicks that everybody does in those films. But I honestly will say this to you, they're all pre-staged, okay? And not at all as powerful as they may look, okay? And because they just can't be. The body physically isn't that good. Yes, you can get kicked by a really good kick in the head with the Morshi Geri, and I've certainly had that a few times. But when you see these kicks that are over above people's heads, they really aren't effective. And I know I've trained with a Power Ranger, a proper Power Ranger who was in LA, and he made that point really clear. He said, if you watch my martial arts training, I don't ever kick above here. He said, if you watch me in the movies, they're all over the place. He said, because it looks cool. It looks cool. Looks cool doesn't work. So my Geri kicking forward then, we're going to kick forwards, step back, kick through, and step down. Us. Okay. Then Mowote turn, change to Gadambarai, and hands back to side. Kick Maigeri Chudan, step back. Kick Maigeri Jodan, step forwards. There's no change. I'll show you again. So Gadambarai, and in Mowote position here. Kick Maigeri Chudan, step back. Maigeri Jodan, step forwards. There's no change in me. Okay, my balance is the same. Don't overkick. The difference between Chudan and Jodan is not a huge amount. Okay, unless you have a really, really long torso, but it's not much at all. It's not much at all. Gadambarai, change. Kick my jump starts. Kick Maigeri Chudan, step back. Maige Jordan, kick forwards. And Gidanbarai. Kick again. Maige Chudan, step back. Maige Jordan, step forwards. Hey, Yame. I'm ready. Us. Okay, so Maige, done. Finished. Next technique. We've spent time on this before, so we don't need to spend so much time on this, but we're going to just do Gyaku Zuki. So Gyaku Zuki is reverse punch. Gyaku in Japanese means literally reverse, so opposite side. Okay, so if my left hand is out, my right hand is punching. Sorry, if my left leg is out, my right hand's punching. Opposite, Gyaku reverse, the reverse. Okay, so we're going to do Gyaku Zuki from Gidanbarai. Okay, so just from here, right? Your step forward, Gidanbarai, my ichi, left arm out. And Gyaku Zuki, punching Gyaku Zuki, keep the elbows in, tight to the body here, and finish. Different angle, hip at hand me, right hand out this time. Keep this connected, let the hip drive the punch through. Keep this shime is contraction. Keep this tight to the body, like so. What's terrible, you know, but no one does it that bad, not I'm aware of. So just keep it together. So hand me, in, tight, in. So your opponent shouldn't see your elbow till it's too late. If you're punching with your elbow, as Matsuda Sensei has taught me many occasions, if you're punching with your elbow, you wouldn't bring your elbow out. Where's your punch going? If you're punching with your elbow, as Matsuda Sensei says, elbow there, target there. So that's the same thing. So make sure that you are punching correctly and straight and true. So left arm out, hips at hand me. So remember what we said. This is Shomen, this is hand me. Just doing the arms, just to kind of give you an example of the way that the hip moves. Okay, so Zenkutsudachi, comfortable stance, hand me. Left arm out, punch Gyaku Zuki. Ich, jump stance. Ni, jump stance. Ish, jump stance. Ich, jump stance. Ich, jump stance. Ich, tabidachi. Ich, tabidachi. Hand me still, or Shomen. If you punch Gyaku Zuki Shomen, then it's okay, but it has no power. Your power's already gone. Well, not gone, a percentage of it is gone. You're able to connect your hip, your punch is much stronger. So we must remember that this part of our body, which many of us are very self-conscious about, and certainly I remember being trying to think what grade I was when my daughter was born, second Dan, maybe third Dan, and more than now, well, it's bad enough, but more than this. I think I was basically trying to show that I was pregnant as well as my wife. Tummy was a bit bigger than it is now. So conscious of that, not using the hips, not sticking my tummy out. You punch with your obi. Yeah, because your hips have to move. So don't be so conscious about this. It's all paid for anyway, isn't it? You know, if it's got food in there, it must have been good at the point when you ate it. So don't worry so much about this. But this is important to have this part of your body, yeah, controlling where your techniques go. Kicks, punches, blocks, etc., makes a difference. Okay, us. So, Gidanbarai, step back Gidanbarai this time. Ich. Okay, so Gyaku Zuki, right hand, migi, ich. Okay, then step forwards. Gyaku Zuki, left hand. Okay, step back. Gyaku Zuki. And back to Shizuntai. Okay, so once more. Step back, Gidanbarai, ich. Gyaku Zuki on the spot, ich. Hip in. Step through, Gyaku Zuki. Let's do this again. So now we'll punch Gyaku Zuki on the spot. Yeah, step back, Gyaku Zuki. So you can see the difference that the hip makes. Okay, put the hand back out, left leg forward still. So hand me, Gyaku Zuki on the spot. Keep the hand open, step through. Gyaku Zuki, step through us. Change arms. Gyaku on the spot. Step back. Bring the hip back. Have to bring the hip back, yeah, to have that delivery correct. Change legs. So, right arm out, left hand on hip, punching left-handed. So, Sonoba, standing position on the spot. Each. Yeah, us. Step through, Gyaku. Change the arms, Gyaku. Change the arms, step back, Gyaku. Hard doing it backwards, I think, if you agree, us. Not so easy that, but still makes you think about the hip, which is the whole point of Gyaku. Gyaku without the hip just doesn't have the power. Okay, in fact, any technique in karate, particularly Shotokan, without the hip power, you don't really have any power. So that's important to understand. So once more, Gyaku each, step through, Gyaku. Gyaku on the spot each, step back, Gyaku. Hey, Yame. Hamrei os. Hey, and inoi, relax. Okay, great. Us. So, Kihon, done. Kata. What kata am I going to do? What kata am I going to do? Okay, in your heads, maybe you type it in the comment section. What kata can we show? Geri Gyaku. Geri Gyaku. So they combine really well in one of my favorite Heian katas, which is where I came up with the idea for this evening's lesson. Okay, because I was practicing it the other day, and I love the connection between these two techniques. So, no one's typed it yet, so I'm going to say it because I've got time. Os. Heian Nidan. Heian Nidan. Okay, so Heian kata number 2. Okay, there is a very nice set of combinations within this after the Shotokan. Okay, and we do Gyaku, so a reverse inside block, with then a beautiful Geri Gyaku. We do another Gyaku, and then a beautiful another Geri Gyaku. So this works really, really well. So you can combine these two techniques beautifully within this kata. Okay, so there are other katas where you have Geri Gyaku, but not. Well, we're doing this one because everybody knows it pretty much. Okay, so what I'd like to do is we're going to get Shotokan stepping forwards left leg. Okay, so make sure you're in Kotsudachi Shotokan. So Shotokan is knife hand block. Okay, now obviously I'm going to look at you. I'll just demonstrate what I want us to do. So we're going to do Uchiyoki Gyaku, back leg Geri, and then Gyaku. Okay, then Gyaku Uchiyoki, Geri, Gyaku. Us. I have to be careful, I was close to the computer then. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So I'll do it from this angle over here, because this might be better for you to watch from behind. Okay, so this is Shotokan. Gosh, that looks weird in that angle, but trust me, I'm doing it correctly. So Gyaku Uchiyoki here, kick Geri right leg, punch Gyaku left hand. Left hand block on the spot, kick the left foot, punch right hand. Okay, ayame. So not normal connect. This is wrong. Okay, so you have to make sure you get the Gyaku Uchiyoki. So here. Now, when you do this, your hip here is perfect for Geri because your hip is shonen. Okay, and when we kick Geri, our hips are shonen. They're not hammy. Okay, because if we did Uchiyoki this way, we will be at hammy, which is not so good. So this is why this technique for me, in my head, works beautifully. Gyaku Uchiyoki, hip hammy, kick Geri. Now, your hip is already in this position, is shonen. So as you step down, you twist the hip back and punch in. Now, I've over-exaggerated that to sort of show and emphasize it. Don't need to do it too much. It's just a flick of the hip. Okay. When we punch Chokuzuki's black belts, we use opposite hip. We snap back as we punch. Subtle, and this is the same. So it's a subtle change. It's not kick Geri, bring the hip back and then punch. It doesn't work like that. So let me leave myself some room. Gyaku, Geri, Gyaku. Gyaku, Geri, Gyaku. So do it slowly. Everyone in back stance, Shotokan, Kukutsudachi, left leg forward. Okay, so as your left leg steps into front stance, right arm inside block, hips shown. Yeah, relax this area. Don't come up. Kick strong to the stomach, each, and then Gyaku. Left arm, Gyaku on the spot, each. Now, as you do that, your right foot will come back naturally as you square the hips off, as you have them in shonen. Okay, just ever so slightly comes back. Okay, that shows you've got it connected. Then from this position here, kicking Chudan Geri, Gyaku. Okay, so again, I'm going to face the other way. Shutoki, Kukutsudachi, you have to trust me on this, that's where I'm in. Right arm, left leg forward, Zenkutsudachi, Gyaku, Uchiuki, reverse inside block. Keep in the same height, kicking Maigeri, and land, Gyakuzuki. Keep it all tight. Left arm inside block, each, bring that foot back slightly, kick with the left foot, kicking straight, Maigeri, Gyakuzuki. Hey, more tighter. Hey, yummy. So can you see how these two techniques work beautifully when connected like this? Okay, so Maigeri, strong, powerful kick, Gyakuzuki, strong, powerful punch. And they both are technically probably perceived best as Kiyagi, snap. Okay, so they're explosive techniques. So they're techniques that literally, when they hit on impact, okay, whatever it is they hit, it's done. Okay, it doesn't go backwards or upwards or down, it just goes down. Okay, so this is a kick that is really much a shock. The punch is the same. Okay, so neither of these are techniques that stay. That's Maigeri Kikomi, similar sort of thing. Okay, and Oizuki, more of a pushing punch. Okay, and then less of a snap punch. You can do it, pulling it back, but Kihon perspective, just trying to make it simple in your head. So these are snap kicks, snap punches. Okay, so in other words, they hit their impact, bang, you pull it back. Yeah, you keep the control of the leg, you keep control of the arm. Because if you kick and bring it back, you're able to kick again or punch again, pull it back, better punch again. Yeah, not expel everything, kick and it's gone. Punch and it's gone. I hope that makes sense. So these techniques very much together are very similar. Essentially, Maigeri is the Gyakuzuki of the arm, is the leg, other way around. And Gyakuzuki is the arm version of Maigeri. That was correct that time. So I hope that makes some sense in terms of it. So in terms of your basic technique that you did earlier, okay, whether you kick Sonoba, standing position, okay, or whether you punch Chokuzuki, Sonoba, standing position, makes no difference. Gyakuzuki in front stance, Maigeri in front stance, okay. In the kata, it is exactly the same. It's a basic Kihon technique, okay, so it should be a good Zenkutsudachi and a good strong Uchiuki in between, okay? Then you kick your Maigeri to the front, true, as if you were kicking Maigeri from Kihon, okay? And all you're doing is then connecting from the hip your Gyakuzuki. So you can see the journey from the basic technique to the kata, okay? And we've chosen here Nidan because it's a kata that everyone should know, pretty much, apart from maybe absolute beginners. And that part of the kata will hopefully you'll like it as much as I do. I think it's one of the best combinations in any kata. I mean all 26. Yeah, put it in my top 3, 100%. I just feel it just feels lovely. It's the Gyaku Uchiuki, I think. Uchiuki as a block, my students will tell you I'm not a fan of it in Zenkutsudachi as per standard normal form, but reverse it, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's a really good technique. So let's do this a couple of times. Okay, so imagine that we're in the kata. I'll do it facing the camera and in a way. So left leg forward, Shutoki, back stance. Left leg across into the front stance, Zenkutsudachi, Gyaku Uchiuki. Okay, so hips at Shomen. So then we're going to kick Maigeri, hey Gyakuzuki. Left arm block on the spot. Here, keep your shoulders down. Uchiuki. Bring that front leg ever slightly back as you snap the hip into Shomen. Kick Maigeri, Gyakuzuki. Okay, turn your face the other way. Shotokan. Left leg across input, so that's Gyaku Uchi Uki. Mai Geri. Gyakuzuki, left arm block. Each. Left leg kick, right hand punch. Each. Mai Geri. Gyakuzuki. And Moate turn. And Yamei. Os. Okay, so I think on Tuesday's lesson we tended to do from Kihon to Kata to Kumite, and we showed the Kumite more Kihon. So we showed it more Kihon than we did anything else. So what I'm going to do tonight is make it different, a bit more advanced. We're going to do this as if we were using it in a Jukumite environment, so fighting. Okay. So we do it from Judachi. So we're still going to use Mai Geri Gyakuzuki. Okay, so how does this work as a combination? How can you put these two together? It's a difficult one, okay, but not really. All you got to do is just change your mindset. What do you want as an outcome from these two techniques? If you're in a competition earning points, then you want to point score. Okay, so you want to make one of these techniques hit the target. Okay, if you're in your black belt examination, first dan, second dan, third dan, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, okay, then you will be making sure that you want these techniques to, one, look strong, powerful, purposeful, and score. As in hit the target, okay, with some credibility, force, power, everything like that. You've got to really, really show and express your techniques, particularly if you're grading at those sorts of higher levels. Okay, so commitment, I think, is probably the right word. So how does this work? So for me, from a fighting perspective, okay, Mai Geri is an unusual kick from the back. Now, when I was, as I said, much younger, and we used to compete in various different competitions in and around London, it was often that you basically bowed, you stepped down Kamai or Judachi position here, and pretty much as soon as the referee said Hajime, most of the time, one fighter will just literally launch a Mai Geri. That's how I broke my leg. But for me, before I broke my leg, it was super successful. I scored lots of points from the off. Okay, some of my opponents weren't expecting me to just launch with the back leg Mai Geri. Today, in today's karate, it's very rare to see that, although I think the Japanese still use it really effectively. But if you do a Mai Geri, okay, from the back leg, you create distance. And maybe your intention, and certainly in my case, is not the Mai Geri scoring the point. So from this position here, you almost kind of want to basically lean on the front leg, and you want them to believe there is a kick coming, okay? And most people, when they see a kick coming, they recoil, they step backwards. So the plan is to really launch a big Mai Geri, but then Gyak. Okay, so the Mai Geri is there nothing more than not a feint, because it's not trying to but it's making a move. So for me, making distance, okay, so my opponent is far enough away. I use zones when I fight, and my students will tell you that. Okay, so my opponents are away from me, so maybe a meter, even 2 meters away. They're possibly even thinking, well, what is he going to do? That Mai Geri is not going to get close enough to me. But that's not my intention. My intention is to kick Mai Geri, a Gyakuzuki. So for me, that's what I'm trying to do. So change legs, so you can do both sides. So again, make sure you're in Judachi, make sure your guard is correct. Please don't fight like this, it's very bad etiquette, and you'll get punched in the face eventually. So make sure you kick through that way, but your intention is to Gyak. Your mindset is Gyakuzuki, okay? The Mai Geri causes reaction. This is a big, powerful leg, okay? This coming through, will make people move. You can't block Gidan right if they're really going fast and they're going maybe even towards the face. You tend to move back and recoil, so you use Taisabaki. But of course, then as soon as you do that, you're on the back foot and you leave potentially yourself open for that Gyakuzuki. The Gyakuzuki can of course be done not just Chudan, but it can be done Jodan Zuki as well. So this is a really nice technique. So you kick the Mai Geri here, and you finish the Gyakuzuki. Kick the Mai Geri, Of course, you can change this to just a very simple, fast feint, and that's if you're closer. Yeah. So knee up here, and not even kicking really, to be honest. So knee up here and punch. Knee up and punch, Gyaku. So you're not even really doing the Mae-geri. Kicking with a front foot Mae-geri, again, for me, I don't like that. And the reason being is that you're susceptible to Ashibaraya sweep. So you bring this up as a feint too high and you actually kick. Yeah, you're not going to score the kick like this because you tend to almost sit back. And if you're sitting back, there's no referee in their right mind going to score this because there's going to be no power. Your hips has to be the cause of power. So if you do this and put your foot down, you're likely to be swept. But do happen to know somebody very well who did this incredibly good in competitions. And he used to kick Mae-geri and then use the front foot to sweep people, then gap them. Okay, so Uenoto Sensei was basically the master of doing that. So he would look like he's kicking Mae-geri, sweep the leg, and then gap them. So there's so many variations. I could spend another 3 hours, and I'm getting quite excited because I like doing Kumite. But again, you can see from the basic Mae-geri Gyaku, yeah, and from the kata perspective, Mae-geri Gyaku, and you see from the fighting perspective, Mae-geri Gyaku. You can see that they can work together in harmony beautifully. Okay, really, really good. Now, the last thing then is the Gyaku Mae-geri. Can you change it around? Can you combine the two? Do they work in that such a way? Yes. Again, leading people into a false sense of security by punching long Gyaku, and they're thinking, well, he's never going to reach me with that punch. That's not my intention. My intention is to kick you with my Mae-geri. Now, I find that much easier to do when I was younger, much harder now. Very rarely would you score from that, I think, but in the old days we used to. So feint Gyaku here. Feint Gyaku Mae-geri. Coming fast. Okay, and again, multiple ideas come to my mind. Kicking after this feint Gyaku here, kicking here, and then using that front leg to sweep your opponent as you touch down. They work combined. I'm pretty confident in saying this, and that is that everything we do in Shotokan has purpose. And so, therefore, if you're taught any technique in any dojo by any sensei, there's a reason for doing it. Yeah, you may sometimes go to a lesson wherever you go, and I've traveled all over the world, and you're standing there and you're trying to work out what does he or she want from me in terms of the sensei. And there is always a reason and there is always a connection, okay, which eventually you'll get. So sometimes it's like reading a book and then finding out at the end what the moral of the story was. Then it brings the book together. It makes you understand what it was all about. This is no different. This is exactly the same. Yeah, you do something in a lesson, 55 minutes, you're looking at the clock thinking, thank God it's nearly over. And then sensei tells you, this is why you're doing it. And then there's this eureka moment, and you suddenly think, wow, wow, that's American. Sorry, I got that from LA. So hopefully that makes some sort of sense. But hopefully tonight I've been able to demonstrate a little bit in my dojo on how we can combine just 2 more techniques. So Tuesday we did Gidan with Zuki. Tonight we did Mae-geri Gyaku. Okay, it could be that some juniors or somebody just gives me a couple of random techniques, and I'll see if I can connect them with Kihon, Kata and Kumite. Okay. It isn't outrageous. Most of the time you can do that. Most of the time you'll be able to find a kata with 2 techniques in it. Not necessarily always joined exactly together, but certainly within a combination you can generally find something like that to be able to teach, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's pretty much it. We'll finish off with some punches, okay, chokuzukis, and again, just a little bit of focus on the hips. So when we learn to punch chokuzuki, we punch straight, and we tend to just worry about the punch. Keeping the elbow tucked to the body here, pulling the hand back, keeping it all nice and tight. Now, as a higher grade, we snap the hip back. Okay, so as you punch the left hand, you snap the hip comes back. Okay, and it's just the hip, it's not the shoulders. Shoulders you need to keep natural. So we'll do 10 punches, chokuzuki. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, はい、はい、やめはい、はい、押す。はい、one more time. Whenever sensei says one more time, they don't ever mean that. They mean loads more times. This will be our last time. Okay, Chokazuki again. This time, Jodanzuki, punch into the chin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.はい、やめ。Right, os. Inoi. Hand finish, yeah, mate. Okay, so get your breath back while I do the Dojo-kun. Okay, so Kyotsuke. Attention, please. Excellent. Hands by sides, Musubarachi, feet turning out, heels together. Dojo-kun. Hitotsu. Jinkan ko kansei ni sonomoto koto. Hitotsu. Makato no michi o momoru koto. Hitotsu. Doryoko no seishin o yashinau koto. Hitotsu. Radio o monju o koto. Hitotsu. Keki no yo imashimuru koto. Show me, right? Sensei, you ready? Os. Os. Domo arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, on this Thursday evening. I'm really nice and warm now. My feet are even starting to warm up, which is great. I've really enjoyed tonight's session, and I really enjoyed Tuesday's session. Hope you did too. And if you're watching this back, then hope you're enjoying it wherever you chance to get to do it. Fingers crossed we're back in our dojos before we know it. But at the moment, we continue with every Tuesday and Thursday, with a plan in my head to possibly do a spring course on a Saturday morning on sometime in March. It'll be the latter end of March, possibly the Easter holidays, but I'm not sure yet. Okay, so but I will keep you updated. Harry, no, I still have not finished my Lego build. Believe it or not, the piece came. I fitted the piece. 5 pieces later, I was missing another one. I've now gone through the rest of the set to make sure I have the rest of the pieces. I've ordered the other piece. Who knows? That'll be possibly done after we get back to the dojos, but I'll let you know as soon as I can, especially for you, Harry. Us, domo arigatou gozaimasu. O yasumi nasai. Us. Good night, jamatane. Us. Us, black belts. See you Saturday. Us. Looking forward to it. Us.